and welcome to Live at 4. It's Friday!
I'll drink to that. Cheers.
You are the hardest working gal I know. Thank you so much for all your help.
We got to send good juju to Eric. He is sick.
Yeah, he is.
Really sick.
I know, he is sick. But hopefully the weekend is here. He'll have some time to recover. It's almost Christmas.
You keep going. I'm going to drink.
You enjoy. Mark is back on Monday. We have a fun show ahead today. We have some dueling pianos. Michael Bruno is here. Lots of fun things to get us in the holiday spirit. So stick with us this next hour. We're going to have a fun afternoon, but there's also some serious news this Friday. And here are the stories we're watching. A federal shutdown over President Trump's border wall is now just hours away.
A Sun Prairie lawmaker is proposing legislation to make sure an explosion that blew up part of his hometown never happens again.
And speaking of sickness, holiday travel may increase your chances of getting the flu. We'll talk about how to minimize that risk.
Like, stay at home.
Exactly, like Eric's doing. Follow Eric's lead. Let's take a look outside today. Cloudy and cool on this Friday afternoon, but we're the lucky ones. No travel problems around here. The weather words for today: quiet through the holiday. Gary Canalti is out on the weather patio. Hi, Gary.
Hi, I'm Mr. Cheer here. It's cloudy, it's chilly, and it's probably going to be a green Christmas, but like I say, travel-wise, it shouldn't be an issue, at least before the Christmas holiday and through Christmas itself. After that, we'll have to watch a storm for Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but visible cloud track shows how gray it was. Look at the clouds across the Midwest, and they are starting to break up a bit across Iowa and southern Minnesota, and we'll see skies turn partly cloudy for a time tonight, but a few thicker clouds farther out to the west may bring us a few flurries tomorrow. It's not going to help the snow situation any. There's the snow depth, and it just continues to shrink as we head toward the upcoming Christmas holiday. On Doppler track, you can see a little bit of lake effect snow on the other side of Lake Michigan, some light snow up in North Dakota and northern Minnesota, but here, you know, if we get a couple of flurries, that's pretty much going to be about it, at least through Christmas. Southern Wisconsin right now pretty much free of precipitation. Low temperatures this morning started out mild in the upper 20s. That's our average high temperature for this time of year, that 29-degree low temperature. We made it up to 35, so a little colder than yesterday, and that's just due in large part to the cloud cover. Right now, temperatures are back down to around their low temperatures for the day at 29 degrees. And by tomorrow morning, look for those temperatures to be just a little colder, probably starting out in the lower 20s. We'll look for skies to turn partly cloudy overnight. The skies will become variably cloudy tomorrow. There's maybe a chance for a flurry during the day. Otherwise, our high temperature about the same as today, 35 degrees. So it's actually pretty not that bad of a forecast. As we take a look at traffic, though, that's a different story. That's the live view from the DOT camera on the belt line at Fish Hatchery Road. You can see slowdowns in both directions. We're seeing delays eastbound beginning around Monona Drive, going back to around Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Todd Drive and head back to John Nolan Drive. Seeing some delays also on US 12 northbound out of Middleton. Down to the south, interstate right now in pretty good shape. I-3990 between Madison and Janesville down toward Beloit. This is, of course, a busy travel day because people starting the holiday weekend early, but right now things are looking pretty good. I-94 toward Milwaukee in good shape. And north of Madison, we're seeing posted speed limits on I-39, 90 and 94 as you head up toward the Dells and up into central Wisconsin. Also US 151 through Beaver Dam. That is your first alert traffic.
It's Bach.
All right, Gary, thank you so much.
I'm too busy jaw-jacking.
Sorry. Thanks. Thank you.
First at 4, President Trump says the government is prepared for a shutdown, with the Senate likely to vote down a House-passed bill to keep it open.
Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are working to hash out a deal before midnight.
Now it's up to the Democrats as to whether or not we have a shutdown tonight. I hope we don't, but we're totally prepared for a very long shutdown.
As the federal government inches closer to a partial shutdown after midnight, President Trump is blaming Democrats 1 week after he said he would be proud to shut down the government for border security.
President Trump, you own the shutdown. You said so in your own words.
The Senate is set to vote on the House-passed measure, which gives $5 billion for the border wall and $8 billion in disaster assistance. But first, the chamber must allow the bill to come to the floor, and that vote is currently open for members still traveling back to Washington. After meeting with the president this morning, Senate Republican leaders urged their colleagues to support the bill.
Let's pass it. Let's finish our work for this year. Let's secure our country.
Any funding bill would need a 60-vote majority to pass the Senate, which is not possible without support from Democrats who oppose money for the wall.
If you're saying the offer I'm going to make to you is I will avoid punishing 800,000 federal employees, I do not negotiate with bullies.
President Trump urged leader Mitch McConnell to use the so-called nuclear option to pass the bill with a 51-vote majority. But several Republicans said they would not support such a move. In Washington, Nicole Killian for WISC News 3.
Senator Richard Shelby, who chairs the Appropriations Committee, told reporters he is trying to find a compromise between the Democrats' past offer of a little over $1 billion in border security funding with the president's demand of $5 billion.
Governor-elect Tony Evers has named 4 more members of his cabinet. Evers chose Craig Thompson to lead the Department of Transportation. He is the executive director of the Wisconsin Transportation Development Association. Evers also named Mark Afable as insurance commissioner, Rebecca Cameron-Valk as chairwoman of the Public Service Commission, and Brad Paff as head of the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. A state lawmaker is calling for change after the deadly explosion in Sun Prairie.
Rose Schmidt is here to explain what he's proposing.
Well, Sun Prairie is the community that Representative Gary Hebel calls home, and he says the deadly explosion from July was completely preventable. Hebel told me today he plans on introducing legislation to make sure nothing like that happens again. Sun Prairie police say a natural gas line was not completely marked, and a contractor struck that line leading to the explosion. Hebel did not offer specifics on the bill he plans to create, but says there needs to be a better system in place to make sure lines are properly marked. That may mean requiring a second inspection be done in the future.
We've been contacted by We Energies here. Yesterday they called saying that they've got some ideas on what they think will work to prevent this kind of tragedy from occurring again. What I'd like to do is bring together all the stakeholders to make sure that we get all the input necessary.
No criminal charges were filed in that explosion, but Abby Barr, the widow of the firefighter who died, and 2 firefighters who were injured have filed lawsuits against companies they say were involved. Now, Hebel has not drafted language of the bill he plans to introduce, but he says he plans to introduce it during the next legislative session, hopefully by May.
All right, Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is in a New York hospital tonight after undergoing surgery. Ginsburg had 2 growths removed from her left lung. Her surgeon says the growths were cancerous, but that after surgery, there was no evidence of any remaining disease. The growths were discovered when Ginsburg went into the hospital for a fractured rib. Between that hospital visit and the surgery, the 85-year-old justice was back in action, welcoming new American citizens at a naturalization ceremony.
Police have arrested the fiancé of a Colorado woman missing since Thanksgiving Day. Patrick Frazee was taken into custody this morning and charged with first-degree murder in the death of his missing fiancée, Kelsey Barrett. The 29-year-old mom was last seen on surveillance video at a grocery store with the couple's 1-year-old daughter on Thanksgiving Day. Police say cell phone records and other data led to the arrest. Barrett's body has not yet been found. Investigators are searching Frazee's 35-acre property with heavy equipment. It is the season of giving. While a lot of us give presents for the holidays, some of us may end up giving the flu.
Now, we're about to reach the peak of the flu season, and with holiday travel, your risk of exposure is heightened, so you need to be very careful. Jamie Perez joins us now, and she's here to explain why. Jamie?
That's right. Well, we are in the midst of holiday travel this weekend as people prepare for Christmas, and all that travel does make you more at risk for catching the flu. Now, we have had a mild flu season so far, but as we approach this busy holiday travel time, the flu can spread. Getting your flu shot is the safest way to prevent getting it, but keeping up with hand hygiene is the best way to prevent spreading it, especially for kids.
For every kid that gets influenza, we anticipate that 5 or 6 other people in their immediate surroundings are fairly likely to also be at least exposed to it.
It's never too late to get the flu shot. Flu season actually peaks within the next couple of months, particularly if you are traveling to the southwest and southeastern parts of the country. So all of the hugging and touching, kissing, etc. when you see your relatives that you haven't seen in a long time this holiday season is, of course, understandable. Doctors do recommend, though, a fist bump to greet people as a way to help preventing the spread of the flu.
Not a bad idea, right? Better
Makes you
safe
look a
than
little
sorry.
cooler, too.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much, Jamie. When we come back, it's going to be a record-breaking holiday rush.
More than a third of all Americans will travel 50 miles or more between now and January 1st. We'll find out more as Live at 4 continues. The holiday traffic rush is underway.
AAA estimates a record-breaking 112 million people will fly, drive, or take a train this weekend. The Minneapolis airport is expected to see around 40,000 passengers each day between now and December 30th. Storms on the East Coast are causing some delays. 14,000 flights were affected today. And a tip for future years, the slowest days for travel during the holidays are Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Those are tough days to travel,
They
though,
are.
too.
Another day of big losses is leaving the U.S. stock market with its worst weekly drop in more than 7 years. Investors fear a recession is coming, and barring huge gains during the upcoming holiday period when trading is usually quiet, this will be the worst December for stocks since the 1930s. The Dow lost 414 points, the Nasdaq was down 195, and the S&P lost nearly 51. As we approach the start of 2019, a lot of us will refocus on our health.
That's right. A Madison woman wants you to know that the best gift you can give yourself this Christmas is to trust your gut and not give up. That is the message Ellie Feldman wants to share.
I was born about a mile from here in the Vilas neighborhood.
Everything was falling into place for Ellie Feldman. Her own home, her rescue dog Charlie, and a successful real estate business.
I went to Franklin Randall Hamilton West High School, graduated from UW with a business degree, and started in real estate then.
Ellie works full-time and never had a health problem. So when she started feeling tired at 25, it was unusual.
I started going to the doctor and getting blood work done because I was so tired and I really wanted to find answers.
So you didn't just think it was your life. You thought maybe something was not right.
Yeah, I thought maybe hormones or thyroid, something was going on because I felt like I was too young to be that tired.
Over and over again, the blood work showed nothing was wrong.
I started noticing if I had like a glass of wine or a cocktail, I would get like severe jaw pain. Sometimes it was in my back and my neck too. It was just this like achy pain.
A thyroid ultrasound is what finally revealed Ellie's lymph nodes were enlarged.
They put me in the CT scanner and within a half hour or so of getting home, I had a call from my primary care, and she said, "We think you have lymphoma."
But what was your reaction?
I think I couldn't believe it. I started pacing. I kept thinking, like, this can't be happening to me. How is this happening to me? What am I going to do? How am I going to find out what it is? Am I going to have chemo? Am I going to survive? I mean, I felt scared.
Ellie was diagnosed with stage 2A Hodgkin lymphoma, a cancer affecting 8,000 people a year.
Hodgkin lymphoma is a specific type of lymphoma, which is a cancer of the immune system.
Dr. Christopher Fletcher is Ellie's oncologist at the UW Carbone Cancer Center.
Predominantly, these are going to be young patients, but there is actually what we call a bimodal distribution, which is a very scientific way of saying it happens to people who are very young and then 60 and up.
Dr. Fletcher says the diagnosis in healthy young people like Ellie often leads to confusion, but with the right treatment, patients have a lot of success.
I try to be careful and not use the word that this is a good cancer, right? For an individual that's going through it, that doesn't feel like a good thing.
I was there when she got the call from her doctor, and she was out on the porch pacing back and forth, so I joined her, and I'm very good at pacing as well, so we paced back and forth together.
If the Feldman name sounds familiar, Ellie is Michael Feldman's daughter.
I'm very proud of her, and I actually feel better about myself and my life, and that if something like this happens to me, I can deal with it. You know.
The Madison radio personality has been by his daughter's side, making her laugh and admiring her courage.
I know this much about Ellie, is that she has situations where things seem to be going all the way down. You can do what you always do. You are so competent at dealing with these situations that you find yourself in where you feel like, you know, I don't know what to do. But you really do know her competence is amazing.
As a way to help others and herself, Ellie is sharing her cancer journey on social media.
I'm someone that when I'm going through something hard, I like to reach out to others for support, and I feel less alone.
In regular updates, she shares her feelings and her discoveries, like the cold cap that's saving her hair.
The best thing about the cold capping is that I don't have to walk around looking like a cancer patient to other people.
Absolutely.
No.
Halfway through her treatment now, Ellie is thankful she trusted her gut.
I felt really lucky that I found it, and I found it when I did. So the narrative in my head this whole time has been, I'm so lucky.
When will you be done? Do you have it marked on your calendar?
Yes.
What's
February 25th or 26th. Right before my 28th birthday is March 2nd. So.
Oh, that's going to be the best birthday present ever.
I'm going to have a screw cancer and happy 28th birthday party, I think, in March.
That's going to be a fun day. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, by the way, has a very active chapter in Madison, and we have a link with much more information on our website, channel3000.com.
What a strong young woman.
Brave of her to share her story, too. To
Always
help other
courageous.
people, that's kind of her goal. But, you know, it's good to know, to trust your intuition.
Yeah,
you know,
don't
even
question
when
that, right?
people tell you no, to keep pushing.
Right. Next, sounds of the season from two talented piano players.
On the same piano. That's when Live at 4 continues. take a look at this.
What's this? Ah! Why are you giving us filters?
Every child in this video is as confused as you are as they all open the same present, an air filter. Well, it's part of an elaborate prank by a company called Filter Easy. They asked their employees to give all of their children air filters as early Christmas presents. And as you might expect, it turns out the kids are not real big fans of the product.
I would actually be
thoughtful
okay.
gift.
I would actually be okay with an air filter.
It certainly gets them talking about the company, though. It's very creative.
Helps with allergies, too.
That's true.
Today is December 21st. It is Humbug Day, when the stresses of the holiday pile up and many of us start to feel a little bit like Scrooge. This day was created to allow us an opportunity to express our frustrations.
And it's National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. You never thought that this would come, right? But it gives holiday lovers worldwide a chance to wear their ugly Christmas sweaters.
And it is also Winter Solstice Day. It just happened, right? 4/22, 4/23.
4/23, yep.
Yep.
1 minute ago.
A day with the shortest amount of daylight. And to make up for the grayness of winter solstice is a day of celebrations, festivals, and rituals. And what better way to celebrate than with some holiday music? Jared Stellmacher is the Director of Worship and Music at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church here in Madison.
And Ben Johnston-Uri is the Director of Music at First Lutheran Church in Janesville, and they have a special treat for us today. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Hi there. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
So tell us a little bit about your dueling piano concerts.
So both of our churches have concert series, and it benefits youth music programs in the city. And we thought, what better way than to team up and do concerts at both of our churches to just do great good for the community.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, you know, this is the first year that we have done it together, although given the great reception that we've had in Janesville and in Madison, we're already planning our next ones.
Yep.
Well, it's challenging enough to play one piano. How difficult is it for two people to play the same piano?
Hey, we adapted pretty well. The trickiest part is when we cross hands. So.
Oh, wow, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't wait to see that. Okay, we're going to let you play in just a second, but first we want to let everybody know that Jared is playing at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. That's on Raymond Road. Christmas Eve at 10 a.m., 4:30, 6, 7:30, 9, and 10:30. You're going to be a busy
not busy
guy.
at all, huh?
And Ben is playing at First Lutheran Church on Randall Avenue in Janesville, Christmas Eve at 4, 7, and 9:30 p.m. Okay, guys, take it away.
Okay.
was incredible. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be right back.
Well, things are pretty quiet around here. It looks like the weather will stay quiet as we head toward the upcoming Christmas holiday. Unfortunately, that doesn't bode well for a white Christmas. You can see on Doppler track some lake effect snows on the other side of Lake Michigan, some light snow up in northern Minnesota, but not much in between. Might catch a flake or two of snow tomorrow and maybe again Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day morning. But right now it looks like that's it as far as the snow chances until after the Christmas holiday. Snow depth, well, you can see just how much of the state is going to be looking at a green Christmas. The snow up in the northern part of the state just continues to melt away, and with temperatures above freezing, that's just going to continue. I'm not at a fast pace, but still a lot of that snow is just starting to go away. Taking a look at the computer models beginning this afternoon and running out through Christmas and beyond, the U.S. Computer model that we use for most of our day-to-day forecasting shows a thickening of the clouds for tomorrow, maybe a few flurries, and then on Sunday, partly sunny skies through the day. Monday, Christmas Eve, pretty quiet. Christmas Eve night, maybe a couple of flurries, and then probably clearing out later on Christmas Day. Now, where it gets a little more interesting is when we get into Wednesday. This is late Wednesday afternoon, and you can see a mixture of rain, maybe some freezing rain and snow, with rain just to our south. The exact placement of this right now, I'm thinking the line is probably a little closer to Madison, so areas north of Madison will probably see a wintry mix to the south, more likely a mix changing to rain, and you can see that's definitely the trend on Thursday as we turn warmer. The main part of the storm out to the west of us, swirling in east and southeasterly winds with warmer air, and then eventually that changes to snow on Friday and Friday night before it tapers down to flurries. Now, as far as snowfall potential, this is through Christmas Day morning. You can see very little snow is expected through then, but watch what happens after that. As that storm system moves through, there could be the potential for a pretty significant significant snowstorm if you're traveling to the north into northern Wisconsin in the Thursday-Friday time frame. We might get a couple of inches here in Madison on Friday if that computer model works out. European computer model beginning on Christmas Eve afternoon. You can see perhaps some light snow or flurries on Christmas Day, and then that next storm system. But notice this is Wednesday afternoon. The rain's still out to the south and west. It doesn't reach us until Thursday morning. So that's one of the things that we have to work at with the timing of this. But mainly rain again on Thursday, and then that changes to some snow on Friday that could linger into Saturday, at least according to the European computer model. Again, very little in the way of snow potential through Christmas Day, but then as the second part of the storm comes through, that's where the potential for heavier snow is, maybe a little farther to the north and west to the European computer model, and perhaps an inch or two of snow here, but we could see maybe an additional inch or two on Saturday if the European model holds out. But still, all in all, not much in the way of snow chances before then. Again, Doppler track pretty quiet around here. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Lots of clouds, but not much in the way of precipitation. The almanac for today, high temperature 35, the low 29, the average high is 28. So again, just shows you how mild we are right now. We're 29 now, skies are cloudy, winds out of the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour, drop the wind chill to 19 degrees. Temperatures are in the teens and lower 20s up in northern Minnesota, but you can see the rest of the Midwest still seeing temperatures slightly above average, mainly in the 20s to the lower 30s. Our forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy skies this evening. It'll turn partly cloudy overnight. Low temperature dropping to 23, so a little colder than last night. Tomorrow's high 35 with variably cloudy skies and a chance for a couple of flurries. As we look at future track, you can see some clouds, maybe a little sunshine mixed in during the day tomorrow. Overnight, look for low temperatures in the lower 20s. High temperatures tomorrow, middle 30s. Again, a chance for a couple of flurries. Tomorrow night, look for low temperatures in the middle 20s. Sunday, high temperatures again in the middle 30s. 7 to 10 day forecast, though, you can see those temperatures start warming up again as we head toward Wednesday and Thursday. Again, there could be that wintry mix of precipitation changing to rain, and then as we head toward the latter part of the week, you can see those temperatures dropping off, and that's when we have the possibility for maybe some accumulating snow there. But again, if you're traveling north, especially if you're heading north into central and northern Wisconsin, late Wednesday into Thursday and Friday, that's an area to watch for now.
All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gary. We'll have a preview of CBS Sunday Morning with commentator Mo Rocca when we come back.
We'll be right back.
All is quiet on the UW campus. Finals are over. The lake is frozen. It's time for holiday break. That's a live picture of the Memorial Union.
You can stay up to date on what's brewing outside Saturday and Sunday morning on News 3.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. It has a 'Tis the Season theme this week. So Mo Rocca joins us now with a preview of what's coming up this weekend on CBS Sunday Morning. Happy holidays, Mo.
Well, good to see you, Susan. Now, you remember that when we first met, I promised to always tell you the truth. So you have to believe me when I tell you that this Sunday's show is terrific.
I believe
it really
you.
is. I went to... Yeah, well, it's the truth. I went down to Texas to make tamales. For a lot of Mexican Americans and other people, Americans in general, tamale making is a big part of Christmas time. So I went to what's called a tamalada, which is a tamale making party. And then I went over to San Antonio to what's called a gran tamalada, where there's just rows and rows of tamales. Let's roll tape from that. I know it's an odd question to ask a tamale, but what kind of tamales do you like to eat?
I like the buffalo chicken.
I have it from a very good source that your buffalo chicken tamale is really good.
They are.
It's good, right? Now, it's a little bit weird, I'll admit, to watch a tamale eating a tamale. It's kind of like cannibalism, if you really want to know what I think. But the tamales were great. We're also looking at the 200th anniversary of Silent Night, many people's favorite Christmas carol. We're profiling the Property Brothers, Drew and Jonathan Scott. They're two brothers that fix people's houses. They're always in a good mood, so people love them. Nancy Giles is also looking at fruitcake, the much maligned fruitcake, which is not only delicious in my opinion, but is also really good for your digestive tract.
Tough assignment. Now we're all hungry. We all want a tamale and some fruitcake.
Well, go for it. I mean, they go together. They really, they're terrific together.
We will see you this weekend. Mo, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas, Susan.
He is so funny. Are you a fruitcake fan?
It has to be the right fruitcake.
And have you had tamales before?
You know, I don't know if I did. That's why I was asking, you know, a little like the ingredients and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's usually I have everything, so.
It's good stuff. So watch this Sunday morning. CBS Sunday Morning airs at 8 a.m. right here on WISC-TV. The holiday theme continues when we come back.
We'll go backstage to the CTM production of A Christmas Carol. That's next.
Well, it's the Friday before the weekend that leads into the Christmas holiday, and the Beltline right now not looking good in the eastbound direction. In fact, we'll take a fly through here. This is along Verona Road. There's Seminole Highway. You can see the red all the way through Fish Hatchery Road. Keep going through Park Street. Keep going. Goes all the way past Rimrock Road, John Nolan Drive, and then eventually gets up to about West Broadway before things start to loosen up a little bit as you head toward the interstate. As far as travel times are concerned right now, we're looking at about a half hour from University Avenue to the interstate, 15 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, about normal times, 27 minutes to Janesville, 17 minutes to Sauk City, and 16 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary. It is one of Madison's favorite holiday traditions.
CTM's production of A Christmas Carol. Our Michael Bruno went backstage with the production at Overture's Capitol Theater.
Hello, everyone! It's a story about the difference between how Scrooge starts the story, edging his way through life around people and not interacting with anybody and shunning humanity, to becoming a person of the people and walking among them and learning from them and being affected by them and their stories.
Once upon a time, my word, once upon a time belongs to every story. To be sure, this story does.
The thing that I really like about it is there's always a way in which the audience is addressed in it, talking to them like once upon a time, and then the next thing that happened was this, and then the next thing. And so we get to kind of, we don't really sit back and watch a lot of bells and whistles and special effects and things like that, but we're really engaged with the art of storytelling the whole way through.
This is an adventure story, a nail-biting adventure story.
My job, I keep thinking, is just to try to inspire my cast to inspire themselves.
A fearful ghost story. Boo! This is a rags to riches.
What's engrossing and head and heart-centered about this particular story, so that they become convinced that they're the owners of it. They're the purveyors of this story, and ultimately I can't be here. So that's really my job, is to just make sure that everybody else is able to do their job and is inspired to do it.
Do it again.
And Michael is here.
It's a Christmas Carol.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And they've been doing this for years and years and years and years. And they always bring something fresh to it, though. There's always a new cast. There's always new kids in it. There's always a different take on the show.
Oh, really?
They've done different versions of it. And this is a new version that they've written for it. It actually has a narrator that tells the story.
Oh, that's
Which is a
interesting.
little different than the other Christmas carols that you usually have seen done in Madison.
I know the cast and crew, they work so hard.
They
I
do
mean, they
work-
start auditioning and rehearsing for this early in the fall.
Yeah, they do. And it's the costumes are always beautiful and the sets are gorgeous. And it's always so wonderful to be in the Capitol Theater because it really lends that really wonderful Dickensian look in that theater.
Yeah.
And they really do get right down in close for the kids in the front. So it really is fun for the whole family.
That's wonderful.
A Christmas Carol is at the Capitol Theater at Overture, as Michael just said. Performances are tonight and Saturday at 7:30 and 2:30 matinees on Saturday and Sunday. Great way to get in the holiday spirit.
Merry
Good
Christmas.
job, Michael.
Merry Christmas to you,
Are you
too.
staying or traveling?
We're going to stay put and enjoy the holidays here in town.
Good.
Enjoy it. And Happy New Year.
Thank you.
And
You
we'll
too.
see you next. You'll be here next week, though, right? You'll be here next Friday?
Yes, we will be here next Friday.
All right, good.
Yes.
We'll see you then. All right, thanks, Michael.
We'll be right back.
Just cloudy and cool tonight.
Yeah, temperatures still actually a little bit above average right now, though. Those clouds not producing any snow. We'll probably actually see some breaks in the clouds later on tonight. Current temperatures are in the upper 20s to the lower 30s, and look for those temperatures to gradually fall off to the lower 20s by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we'll see variably cloudy skies, maybe a couple of flurries of snow. Not going to make it a white Christmas, though. High temperature at 35.
All right, Gary, thank you.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Monday on Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be here to take your health calls.
And we'll have a special Christmas Eve presentation of the sounds of the season. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4. We'll be right back with Lola's Lowdown. Mark will be back from his vacation on Monday, but it's been no vacation for Lola and Louie. They've been hard at work finding the best animal stories of the week.
Here's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
This week on a holiday version of the Lowdown, tiger cubs going after their holiday stockings.
Lowland gorillas get a Brussels sprout advent wreath.
And a corgi turns the tables on a coyote.
But first, a rare albino orangutan was released into the wild in Indonesia more than 1 year after it was rescued from captivity. Alba showed excellent climbing and social skills during her recovery, forging a special bond with another female orangutan that was released into the wild on the same day.
Some squirrel monkeys at a zoo in England have been putting up their stockings with care. Someone stuffed each of the stockings with special treats. Some penguins found some fishy treats when they discovered presents on the rocks in their enclosure. And 3 tiger cubs were anxious to find out what was in their stockings hanging in nearby trees. A good time was had by all.
And they weren't the only ones finding the holidays were the perfect time of the year. Over at the London Zoo, the Lowland gorillas got a large advent calendar filled with